Another knife from Poikilo Blade. And this is from the same designer that designed the Alchem, which is just super cool. And if you haven't seen my video on it, it is a transformer type knife, same blade. It just splits open when you rotate the pivot up here. Gravity knife, so maybe not legal in your area. And yeah, super freaking cool. This particular one is on the more expensive side, but it is all zirconium. Anyway, that's not the one we're talking about today, but Munson Knife is who designed that and also designed this one. This one they call the Carmen, or I've also heard it referred to as the futuristic Carmen. This belongs to a good friend of mine, Rob, out in Utah. Cool thing, you get the leather pouch with a black microfiber cloth, and this patch glows in the dark. So, of course, I want one. I need to buy a Poikilo blade knife now so that I can get a patch. And you never know, you might see this around more often. You never know. I've spent a lot of money here in October of 2024, more than I even want to add up, and certainly more than I want to admit here on the interwebs. What do we got here? We've got a futuristic button lock knife with a quick, I'm not even going to say quick, with a changeable pocket clip location. Right now it's set up for right hand carry. Has this very long pocket clip here that works very well. It can go right hand carry, left hand carry, or center hand carry? Center carry. And we'll talk about that in a moment when we get to that. It's a cool knife. This is a little more, I know this is going to sound oxymoronic maybe. This knife is a little bit too futuristic for me in its look and feel. While this knife, I love. What can I tell you? Sometimes it's complicated. And if you hear the sound that this makes, they put a ring fork specifically inside to create that sound. It's fantastic. Okay, so where's your button lock? It's here on the back. So it's a back button lock. Ooh, almost cut my finger that time. So this takes a little bit of getting used to. There's a little bit of stuff on the blade here. I thought I got all off before. That's a little better. So you push it in, and then there you go. You can open it this way as well, like a traditional button lock or crossbar lock. You can thumb it open. You can reverse flick it open if you're into that goofy way of doing it. And you can sort of, with some practice, use the jimping here along the top side and top flip it. It takes a little bit of timing to get your finger out of the way so that it will lock open. I think I've got it down now. Again, that's not going to be my deployment method on this knife. I'm going to thumb it open 99% of the time because that's just what works for me. So you have a very nice recurve, straight titanium with a lot of milling going on. So a couple of the specs, it's 4 5/8 closed, 7 3/4 overall with a 3.4 inch blade. Okay. I believe the blade steel is M390, but don't quote me on that. I did not double check with the maker on this particular one, but they used M390 on the Alchem models. So I'm just guessing that this is M390 also, but could be wrong. All right, so let's zoom in, give you a quick look around. Nice blade, nice grinds, nice milling. There's no real lightening pockets inside. It's just kind of straight milled. You have a little copper brass looking thing up there, which we're going to talk about in a second. This tube here is the spring for the lock, and we'll look at that when we get to the back side. So the milling inside is really cool. You can see here there is a seam which reacts with, you got your logo stuff there, which reacts with that brass copper looking thing there. Here is very much like a shock absorber. There's a spring inside of this tube. This piece here is the lock. If we activate the lock, you should see that front piece kind of push backwards. That's unlocking it. And then as we bring the blade up, locks into place, that kind of scoots forward just a little bit. All right, so we're going to close it real quick. And we're going to go here to the back side and probably zoom out a little bit. So this is where you can rotate the pocket clip. So you pull back on this back tail piece while putting your finger over here. Hopefully the brass cover piece doesn't go flying. Now this is why I say it's not a quick change operation, because really it's easier if you put it against your stomach and you kind of pull the two pieces apart. You have the leverage right. So it's a little bit tough to do over here. So you pull that out once and this little cartridge comes out. It's like a bullet. Like that's the whole premise. You kind of put it in, you press down a little bit like putting it into a magazine, and then you shove this forward and then you're locked in. So you pull this out, you get rid of the cartridge, set off to the side, pull this out one more time. So you have room. Now you unscrew this pin. Okay. Get all the way screwed out because this is going to pull all the way off. Now you're going to push and pull on the pocket clip itself, which comes all the way out. Now you see there's holes there, 2 holes, 2 holes, 2 holes, 2 holes, which correspond with the 2 posts in here. So what you're going to do then is you're going to rotate it into the position that you want it in for whichever carry you want. And because I know Rob carries it in the center position, because this is a go-to-church knife for him, and in his dress pants, it just works there in the center section. You have to kind of get the post lined back up, which is a little easier said than done on these things, honestly. So that's why this is not a quick change thing. Let me zoom out so you're not getting like seasick there. So you got to get this all lined up. You got to get it pushed down into the holes, and then you have to get this post screwed back into the handle. Once you get it all the way screwed back in, you can push it in once, which you can see here, this also rotates, or this also moves into position. And then you can, now it's a little bit tougher because the pocket clip is in your way. So you have to kind of get this in there like that. Push in a little bit, and then you have to push down on the cartridge, which in this configuration with the pocket clip in your way is a little bit easier said than done. But there you go. That actually was pretty quick compared to what I've done the last several times here on my table. So now it is center pocket carry, if you will, which seems to work very good for Rob in his go-to-church pants. Okay. I'm not one to judge. I can roll with that. I think it's kind of a cool knife. It's a little bit on the futuristic side for me, but that's okay. Now, I don't know if these just came out right at Blade Show West or if they've been out before that. I don't know the whole genealogy of this one, but the engineering on it is pretty cool. It's fun little knife, sharp as hell. Here it is with a Sharpie with the Spyderco Delica. I want to grab, and I should have grabbed earlier, the Frank Fisher Battle, because while I say this is futuristic for me, I do like the blade shape-ish. I like a double recurve from Frank Fisher. It's Tonto blade. This is a Tonto with just one recurve. So, this isn't really for me, but it could be for you. Let me know your thoughts. I have a Poikilo blade playlist I'm putting together as I film some of these. And I have one more from them today. They have about 16 models, I think. And I am talking with one of the owners who lent me this one, who lives local to me, if you hadn't seen that video yet. So he has offered to loan me their entire lineup over time, right? He was actually waiting on a shipment to come in with some more of their models because he was out. So yeah, so stay tuned. You will see, ideally, every single Poikilo blade model here on my channel, which is something kind of super cool to me to be able to show a particular company's every single model. So there you go. Thanks for watching, everyone. I do greatly appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on the pocket clip, on a changeable pocket clip like that with no tools. What do you think? I'm 50-50 on it. So let me know your thoughts.